Welcome back. It's still Health Matters, and we're talking about emergencies in and around the home. You can call in, ask your questions, talk about your experiences that haven't been mentioned in and around the home. Number to call, 012206 842. That's 012206 842. Now, Dr. Okpong, you're a burn specialist, so let's talk about burns. Okay. Either by fire or a hot pot. That one is the most common. What do we do?
Well, burns could be chemical. A hot pot, if you don't have what we call personal protective equipment, and many women don't, you are supposed to have gloves when you're handling hot pots.
Uses those, yeah.
Yes, you're supposed to have it. It helps to keep your fingers and your palms supple.
Soft, yeah.
So, but if you don't, you keep on burning it, it will harden up eventually. But apart from that, it could actually cause an accident because you hold a hot pot and it is too hot, you might drop it. And then whatever is the content will spill over you. But more dangerously, it tends to spill on children. Fry pan, hot pot, you take off your eyes, and your child moves behind your back, a toddler, and holds it, and it just comes over. And it could be very, very serious burns for a child. If you burn, it depends on the depth of the burns. Some are superficial, some are skin thickness, some are deeper burns that can go through the muscles, even as far as the bones.
But then, you know, someone at home doesn't know how severe it is. Hasn't gone to the hospital yet, but starts to rub butter on the burn.
We don't advise those. Burns, if it is superficial, the lighter burns are the most painful. If your burns are very deep, you will not feel much pain.
You don't feel those
no.
ones? Okay, that's because the nerve
endings have also already been burnt up.
Okay.
But the superficial ones, the nerve endings have been sensitized to pain, and the person feels severe pains. Okay. And then, when you go to the hospital, any burns which has a significant surface area needs to be properly treated, because it can actually result in tetanus.
Tetanus?
Yes. Burns sometimes results in tetanus later. Many people don't know that.
Yes.
So they pour eggs, raw eggs. The raw eggs themselves, some of the salmonella organisms are there that can lead to typhoid and so forth.
Salmonella is not just in the chicken, it's also in the eggs.
Yes, it's in the egg, the fresh egg. Many people drink fresh egg and so forth. They expose themselves to danger. So it is not safe to pour raw eggs and all those sort of things that we do on the surface of the burns. If you have burns, go to the hospital. Fortunately, in the Lagos state now, many of these things are treated relatively free at very cheap rate. All you're going to spend is the time to go and the cost. They dress those places for you. And then they'll give you medications either to prevent infections, and especially they'll give you anti-tetanus toxoid.
Let me interrupt you there for a minute. We're having a call coming in. Hello? Hello? Okay, hello? Chris, it is. We can hear you. Oh, well, Chris isn't coming through. Hello, Chris? Please do try again. Well, let's go ahead. Before we move on, I must ask you, how do you keep a home as safe as possible? I know it's not possible to eliminate every danger, but as safe as possible.
Let me take it this way, that a home, either you have built it or you rent it. If you rent it, you must first of all assess that home to see the hazards that are there, what are the risks there. Is it a home that is likely to collapse? So you might need a technical expert to assess the structures and so forth for you to see if it is safe. And what are the other hazards that are in the home? The doors are shorter than the floor. Can leave reptiles, poisonous reptiles to crawl in, or rats to come in that will lead snakes to come in that can bite at night. And then the windows are not protected so that mosquitoes come in that can cause repeated problems. And the walls are cracking. Things can fall from the ceiling onto you. So many things can happen in the home. So you must look at that first before you take a home. If you're building it, then you must consider those things and then discuss with your builder Having done that as a part of the preparation, you must also try to look at other hazards that can exist in that home. The staircase, has it got a railing that is safe?
Yes.
How is it constructed? What about the ceiling? Some staircases are so short in terms of the height between the next decking, the next floor, and the staircase. And you find people writing there, mind your head. Sometimes in an emergency, you can't mind your head, you hit yourself, it can knock you out. And then you look at other hazards. Make sure you take safety precautions. Don't take unnecessary risks. Don't run down the staircases. And make sure also where there is danger, you actually identify it and make everybody in the house know.
Perhaps like the sockets in the house?
Exactly. You will also find that many homes have elevations, steps, and so forth.
That come upon you suddenly sometimes.
Exactly. The ones that are elevated for dining room, everybody tends to know that. But if the flooring is not even, and therefore they had to elevate it, you are likely to knock your toe against that elevation. And so the normal thing, the proper thing to do, the safest thing to do is to slope it gradually instead of giving it a step. People fall on that. And when you're climbing, trying to take things from your shelvings in the kitchen, your suitcases in your wardrobe, do not stretch beyond your height. You need to have to spend money a little and buy these little steps that you can climb and so forth. It will prevent things from falling on you. There are many other things you do. Keep children out of the kitchen, for instance.
And keep medicines out of their reach. There's so much more. Bee stings, you know, snake bites and such. But unfortunately, we've run out of time. At least we were able to cover some of the safety tips. Thank you so much for coming. It's been such a pleasure.
I was glad to be here.
Thank you for being with us today. It's been a great pleasure having you there. And just to moms out there, it's not a measure of strength to pick up your hot pot with your bare hands. That's what the doctor says. Have a great day. I'm Mary Alale Yusuf.